everyone, welcome to Pageant Professors. I'm Nicole and this is Prita, and today we're talking about our Stiletto Survival Guide. There's really nothing better than a pair of sky-high heels. It makes you look taller, slimmer, and just
instantly more confident.
Instantly more confident, absolutely.
Yeah, there's day and night. You can always tell if I'm wearing flats or I'm wearing heels. But when I put those heels on, it's showtime. I am on, I'm ready to go, and I just feel like I can tackle the world.
Yeah.
So, but stilettos can be tricky, and if you're not comfortable or haven't worn a ton of really high heels, there are definitely some things that you need to know about before going and picking the perfect pageant shoe.
Definitely. You know, we're competing at Miss International this summer, and so I am stocking up on my heels, my wedges, and just prepping them for the long days of rehearsals, going to appearances. So I'm stocking up on insoles and inserts, the padded inserts for your soles, because it just makes it a little more comfortable, and you'll get a lot more wear out of your heel if you're comfortable.
There's obviously a different, there's price ranges for heels. There's some really, really expensive ones, and there's some not so expensive ones, and sometimes the price can correspond with the comfort level.
Yeah.
So, but just because you maybe bought an inexpensive pair of adorable shoes doesn't mean you can't tweak them to make them comfortable. Case in point, when we were at Miss USA last year, there was an adorable boutique, had these amazing pair of rhinestone heels. They were not very expensive, and they are not very comfortable. But a couple of packets of insoles later, I can now dance in them all night long.
Yeah.
So if you have a great pageant heel that looks amazing but just doesn't feel very well, definitely dash off to your local drugstore and get like the Dr. Scholl's insoles. Yeah. There's padding for just the balls of your feet or the heels. There's all kinds of things that you can do to tweak and make the best out of that heel.
Yeah, well, you speak to our next point, and that's talking about the material of the shoe. You know, if you have a less expensive shoe, the material might be a little less comfortable than if you spent the money for actual leather or something like that. So I think that knowing that you're going to pay the price for a less expensive shoe is something to keep in mind, and just to understand when you're talking about comfort.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, sometimes there are lots of brands out there that basically mimic the latest expensive shoe trend, and they do it for $29.99. But when you're talking about stilettos, there's so many things that go into it. There's the fabric, but there's also the heel and the construction, and so while there are some great inexpensive shoes that work, it's also very important to remember to practice in these shoes, but to be prepared for, if you're buying faux leather, it's not going to bend as well as a real leather shoe, it's not going to mold to your foot as much, and it's probably going to be very stiff and not as comfortable. So figure out if there's a way that you have to work around that, or maybe look at getting the next price level up, not necessarily expensive, but maybe someplace in between.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. You know, I was shopping at the mall the other day, and I went into aerosols. And they have stilettos.
They do?
Yeah. I mean, if you have not been to aerosols recently, I recommend going in there, because they must have gotten a new shoe designer or what. But I don't know if they got a new shoe designer or what, but they've got great wedges, great flats, and great stilettos. And knowing aerosols and the company that they are,
I would never
they make their
imagine.
shoes feel like you're walking on air, or like a bed, or something just very squishy and comfortable. It's amazing.
It's amazing. We've got to go shopping after this.
I gotta go shopping.
But to that point, I mean, it's true. Not all shoes are created equal. Some shoes, like aerosol, really put the comfort of the wearer first. So those are the shoes that sometimes they may not be the most attractive, but apparently now they are.
Right.
But they feel amazing. And then there's others that are all about how it looks and no concern for how it feels.
Definitely.
But you can also find a middle ground. One thing I really like to do with my pageant heels are look for designers or brands and lines that I wear every day, and maybe they have a higher version or a sexier version or something of a shoe that could be worn for pageantry. Jessica Simpson, Nine West, BCBG, those are all brands that, in my opinion, make a pretty great shoe that is not, it's not aerosols.
Right.
They're not walking on air, but they're pretty comfortable. You can wear them for long periods of time, and every so often they have normally they're 3.5 or 4 inches, and then every now and again they'll throw in a pair of 5.5-inch platform, sandals.
Right.
I'm all about it. So look for brands that you know, that you like, that you're comfortable with, and see if they have a kicked up version of what you're already wearing, because that might be a great way to go with something and get a little comfort out of it.
Yeah, love that. Number 3, know your limits. I think that it's really important. If you're used to wearing sneakers on a daily basis, jumping to 6-inch heels is it's just recipe for disaster, and you're not going to be successful. So, if you work in an office environment, try a kitten heel first, 2 inches, then work your way up to 3, and then, maybe if you're, getting the hang of it, go up to 5. You never know, but little step,
baby steps.
Baby steps.
Baby steps is so key, and that's so important, because walking in high heels isn't something that just anyone can do.
No.
You have to have had practice. Doesn't matter, old, young, whatever your size, it takes practice. And so if you are planning on competing in a pageant and maybe you haven't really thought about the heels or the importance of practicing those heels, that's something that you should start months out.
Absolutely.
Practice, because you want it to feel, if you do know young women who love high heels, it is like second nature.
Yeah.
I feel like when I'm wearing flats even, I'm almost on my, I walk on the balls of my feet.
Me too.
Because I'm so used to wearing high heels. So it becomes kind of second nature. And if you are going to be wearing heels for the first time on stage, you want it to be second nature.
Yeah.
And that really goes into practicing in a room, practicing in front of people. There's nothing worse. Nothing, ladies. Even if you've ditched the heels altogether, there's nothing worse than a pageant contestant who is on stage and clearly does not know how to walk in their high heels.
It's all you can see. It's
awkward.
See.
It's
when
uncomfortable.
they're on stage.
You feel bad.
You feel horrible.
You
feel
terrible.
So sad.
Because you know that contestant would be amazing, be more confident and awesome if they were wearing a heel that they were more comfortable in, instead of clunking around in heels that's just not them.
Absolutely. I mean, I've gotten to the point where I think walk in the snow, walk in the rain in 5-inch stilettos.
Right. don't recommend the snow thing, though.
Don't recommend the snow thing, but I think, again, it just speaks to your level of comfort in something like that. Practice not only in your living room in a carpeted area, but practice on wood floors, practice outside, practice in a variety of surfaces, because until you get to the pageant competition, you're not going to know what the stage looks like. You're not going to know what surface you're going to be walking on. So I think that experience on all surfaces, or as many surfaces as you can find, is really going to help you out.
Well, and that's a great point too, because a lot of times, especially for first-time competitors, you find this great pageant shoe to go with your gown or your swimsuit, and then they pack it up, they keep it in the box, and they don't want to touch it until pageant day. They don't want it to get dirty. They don't want anything to happen. That is the worst possible thing you can do. The minute you buy that pageant shoe, wear it everywhere. Wear it everywhere. Because no judge is looking at the bottom of your shoe. They're not going to know how many times you wear it, as long as you don't completely damage it.
Yeah.
But you want to wear that, so you're bringing it in, you're practicing on every surface, so no matter what kind of stage you have to walk on, you've already practiced on something similar to it. And it's like second nature. It'll be your favorite pair of shoes if you wear it long enough. So practice. Do not keep it stored away like it is your gown. Don't keep it hidden away with your gown. Definitely make sure you get it out there and get it a little roughed up.
Absolutely. So, wearing stilettos for the first time, or even if you're a veteran, it can still be very intimidating. So I think taking these things into consideration will definitely help you build your confidence when wearing stilettos.
One other thing I've got to throw in before we go?
Yeah.
No, this is, I was at the Beauty Queen boot camp.
Yes.
Saw the title holders came out, and Mackenzie Green, Miss DC USA, came out and was telling me that one of her secret preparations, that sounded incredibly dangerous to me at first, but I'm thinking it over now, was she practiced. She's more of a tomboy, didn't really love the stilettos at first.
Yeah.
She practiced on her treadmill in stilettos.
What do you mean practice on the treadmill?
Well, she wore her stilettos and she started walking on the treadmill on a very low pace. And we're not talking about jogging in your stilettos, but it was it was walking practice.
Wow.
So, she would do her normal workout, running on her treadmill in front of the TV or doing homework, reading a book, whatever. And then for a little while every day, she'd get on her treadmill and she would walk in her stilettos.
Oh my gosh, we're going to have to make another how to prep at the gym for your next pageant video.
I wonder if they let you do that at the gym.
I don't know.
We'll look into that.
Definitely.
But it's a good way to get some walking practice in. So let us know, do you have any experience with stilettos that went really well or really wrong? or maybe some advice on how you survived the long standing on stage while in those 5-inch killer heels. Let us know. Sound off in the comment section below.
Did you know that there are some really common mistakes that girls make during the evening gown portion of their competition? Click on the link in the description below and you'll be taken to our website for a free 30-minute long training course. By the end of it, you'll learn how to avoid these common mistakes and master the evening gown portion of your competition today.